So it's basically very much common knowledge that the Japanese as a people, when they find something that they're very, very interested in, they kind of, absorb it like a sponge and put their own spin on it, but also try and recreate things as faithfully as they can. If you ever travel to Japan, you can see this all around you. For example, like the rockabilly fellas and ladies dancing in Yoyogi Park every weekend, to, punks and just going to punk gigs there is wild. There is a thriving ska scene there. It's all these sorts of different types of things that there's so much appreciation and love for their source material that when you do find something or someone that is just truly obsessed with a specific thing and then they turn it into something of their own, it's really, really fascinating to pay attention to it. And with that being said, let me introduce you to outil. Long time no see, everyone. Hisashiburi, tanto tiempo sin verte. It's your old mate Chicagon back at it again. And today we are going to be looking at Yuya Uda's outil, a label that I stumbled across early last year, and over the course of a year have been able to acquire some pieces because I have really wanted to do a bit of a focus on them, as it is a label I don't see a lot of chatter about. It doesn't seem significantly popular in Japan either, but their pieces are very, very cool. So that's what we're going to be doing today. Now, outil translates to tool from French, and I guess the idea of the label, the brand, according to the website, is that they're trying to create tools for everyday living. A lot of the inspiration for their clothing comes from French workwear, talking more like vintage towards antique style from quite some time ago. And the designer, Mr. Uda, had traveled to France to, go learn from artisans over there the process of making the clothes, referencing the originals from which these pieces have come from as well, and has sort of brought that back to Japan, worked with local Japanese artisans. And what's very, very interesting is that the label itself splits its production between Japan and France. So you do have some of the pieces that will say made in Japan, some of them will be made in France. So it is a thing of this trying to employ artisans to work on their pieces. It's not really mass produced. They seem to kind of release collection by collection for season, but as far as I can tell from the website, that hasn't been updated since fall winter 24. So I don't know where the brand is at. The things are not very clear. The website is not very updated nor functional. So I'm not sure where the brand is at this point in time and what they're doing, but various retailers like Arch, who are known for, stocking local designers, do still have pieces by them. So I'm not sure. Maybe they just don't really care about having like an online presence, but that's what I've been able to find so far. Through doing research as well with the brand, something that I found very it's a cool little touch that each of the pieces has a name for them, and they are all corresponding to French towns, or I guess in a way also can potentially part of French colonies, as you will see when we get to one of the pieces in particular. But so each of the pieces will have a name to it, and that is referencing a place. And that's pretty cool. It'll be interesting to see whether the names of the places link into the piece itself, or it's just a way to give a name to something to identify it a bit better within as well. In addition to that, the items do have product codes. However, I do not have the product codes for all of these items that I will be showing off, nor do I know the names for all of them. The product codes come on the swing tags. One of these does have a swing tag, and I've been able to find other product codes from finding listings based on the names of the pieces. But when I don't have either of those things, even just clicking next, going through the lists of past clothes that websites are selling, I haven't been able to find some of them. So I'm doing my best with what I got. With that being said, let's look at some pieces from outil. So starting things off with tops, we actually have two of what seems to be the same model of top, but they are a little different, and I'll explain why. But this is the chemisier unieux, So another thing I forgot to mention before is that we do have the town names or city names for the pieces, but also prior to that is signaling what type of piece it is. It might be like the word veste or pantalon or chemisier, and that also denotes the kind of thing that it is. So this is a button-up shirt. We have the denoted stand-up collar here. Unieux looks like it is a municipality or township in Loire in France. I don't speak French, so I'm sorry if I'm butchering all these names, but we can see that this is just a very standard shirt. The standout parts to me are always just the tags on outil pieces are very, very lovely to look at. And this piece as well, interestingly, like the cuffs are not your traditional like button where it is a little further up the sleeve. This is right on the edge there and it's quite small. So I'm not sure what the reference for that is. I do know, however, that this shirt is a reference to the French Army Bougeron jacket. So for the most part, these are quite oversized. This one specifically is not. It is very, very small on me, as you will see on body. But the whole point is that it is a little bit oversized. You can store things in like the deep pockets. They're not usually at the chest height that you would find. And we do have the stand collar as well. The Bougeron, according to the website, is referencing an early 1800s garb. So we're looking at a pretty old reference here. What I think is quite interesting about this one specifically is the fabric, which is kind of hard to show without you being able to touch it, but it feels very papery. I'm not sure if it picks that up, but it does have this papery, typewritery type feel to it. And it does sort of wrinkle naturally and have this kind of almost disheveled look to it, which I really, really like. It is a shame that it is quite small on me, but that is the piece. Here you can have a look at the back. We do have a little pleat there for movement as well, but this is definitely, when you see it on body, it's not how it's supposed to look. It is just very, very small on me. I sometimes do wear it as, like, if I need something a bit more form-fitting of a shirt that I'm wearing a jacket over, but I still want to have, you know, buttons visible, I'll wear this. But you would not catch me wearing this without anything over the top because I just think it'll look quite weird in it. But yeah, this is the chemisier unieux in just black, in like a typewritery cloth. Looking at the tag here as well, you can see it's a size 3. It's made in France. And it being also 100% cotton, what is really bizarre is that this is a size 3, right? It's a size 3 that kind of sounds like it should be like an M to an L. But then we look at the next piece, which is the same shirt, by the way. It is the same shirt, just with a different print and fabric. This is the chemisier unieux in the menu du jour colorway. That we can see here, it is the same shirt with the cut of the stand collar. We have the deep pockets on the chest as well. But what's different, I mean, aside from the fact that the colorway and pattern is different, is that this one is actually quite large. It is a very big, wide shirt. And menu du jour translates to, I think it's like menu of the day, but we can see that we have writing all over it. And it's just sort of items listed off a menu that we can see here as well. The color is kind of like, it's sort of like a brown charcoal with the letters in, I don't know what I would call this color, like a faded-ish type gold. Like it's not striking, but the contrast with the original sort of like charcoal-y color does look very, very lovely. I did pick this one up when I found it because, you know, as the whole printed shirts, you know, being really, really pushed from like a Paul Harnden and Elena Dawson, John Alexander Skelton type thing, I don't have that kind of money. And this one kind of, you know, it's not there, it's not at that level, but it still looks quite nice. And something also to point out as well is that with the details on these pieces, we can see sometimes we have a smaller noted tag there rather than the large white patch. But something that I don't know how I'm going to show this off on camera is that the buttons on these are quite pretty. And they also have proverbs etched into the sides of them, which is such a specific detail, which I think is really, really neat. Like, I can barely read it. It's so small, but that's something that is consistent across the buttoning for outil pieces. So there's different buttons on the dropped pockets as well. Those do not have proverbs etched into them, but yeah, two of the same shirt. Look at the tag of this one as well. So you can see we do not have a size here. This is just a sample piece, which is probably why it was quite cheap, as sample pieces in Japan often are not as sought after by, people wanting to buy things. So yeah, sample sales, you can generally find things at very, very good prices because they're not quite what people want. Otherwise, gorgeous, gorgeous shirt. I haven't worn it too much. Again, it just hasn't been the right weather, but I can't wait to give it a whirl more when the weather's better. So we're looking at shirts done. Let's move on to some pants. Now, these are the pantalon blesle. B-L-E-S-L-E, blesle. It is a place in South Central France. And these are a gorgeous pair of trousers. They are referencing military M47 trousers, and they're in this cotton hemp blend, which is like a very canvasy, like thick fabric that keeps its structure quite well. I was very lucky to find, because as you know, one of the many struggles I have is finding things that fit my waist, considering like Japanese waist sizes are a lot slimmer than Western ones. And I found these in a size 27, which I genuinely don't quite understand what that is. I'm going to assume it's like a military type thing, but that translates to very, 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 very big. Like, these fall off my waist. They are that large. I would say that they're over 50 centimeters. And just the way these are made, we can see on the back flap pockets here, there is the little securing tab underneath that there. So when you do, tab into the button itself, you can then cover the flap there and protect the button. We also do have cargo pockets on both sides that are secured with buttons there as well. These buttons also do have the same etching detail on them as before. We have double knees on both sides, and then at the hems, we can see that we have these sort of, what would you call this? This like strap detail that buttons into here, and then there's another button there. So if you did want to, you can effectively blouse the pants by using these. Instead of, say, having to tuck them into something, you can just make them sit above, say, boots or things like that, and secure looks like that. I suppose you could also make it go the reverse way. I wonder if it would still be as much, but yeah, your options are there. You can do whatever you wish to do as well. You can see that we have a button fly. Just the second one isn't done. It's not missing a button. Don't get any ideas, all right? The things are in good condition. You can see those there. Looking on the inside as well, we do have the logo tag and then the item tags as well, with the cotton and hemp, and also saying that it is size 27. I just don't know what that reference is for 27. So with outil things, like anything else, don't look at the numbered size, look for the measurements, and then just see whether they match your own measurements. That's unfortunately how you're just going to do it these days, because nothing is consistent anywhere. But yeah, these are the pantalon blesle. Really, really lovely pants. These are quite heavy. I don't wear these very much because they're green. And it's not because I don't like green. I'm just, I've been wearing like muted and black for so long that getting a color in sort of just has me freeze up, be like, how do I do this? But considering dyeing them black, we'll see how we do. But also I do have a lot of pairs of pants, but these are actually just such a well-made pair of trousers. I feel like, these would last you for life. They're so, so strong. And just cool that they've got hemp in them as well. It's a fun little fabric to play with, yeah. Pantalon, blesle. So from the pantalon blesle, we move to the pantalon chasignolles. I don't know how to say this word. Please help me, computer. How do I say this?
Chasignolles.
Chasignolles. Chasignolles. It's a tongue twister. Chasignolles. Pantalon chasignolles. Referencing a 1930s army issue trouser. These are made from 100% linen and have this, you can see it through the light, this really interesting luster to them. There's a lot of neps and things throughout the fabric as well. It's not soft, it's not smooth, it's got an interesting texture, but it's not uncomfortable. Other things to denote for these, you have a built-in belt, and you might wonder why that is for. It's because the waist is also huge on these. It is supposed to have an extremely oversized waist that you then secure, and it can sort of spill over, look a bit disheveled, but that is the intended fit of the pants. As well as that, on the hems, instead of just buttons, we have a button to secure this strap that you can see there. But once you undo it, we then have a buckle, and that is really, really neat in being able to adjust how you want, the tightening of the hem to be as well. It's really, really neat. I like having that hardware down there rather than a button, so you can, as I said, just do as you wish. A look at the back, only one back pocket there. This one doesn't have the little strap on the inside. It is just a button flap. Nothing on the other side. And then we can see here, similarly to, I'm not sure if you may have watched the classic video about the pants, but because the pants are so oversized, we do have this V shape here in the pattern, so that when secured, this can kind of come in and, bring in the waist a bit more. But these pants are lovely. I've worn them a few times. I actually got stopped by somebody who asked about them, which was pretty interesting. But it's just wild how they look in the light. Yes, they are very wrinkly. It is linen. That's just how, it goes. But I don't know how you achieve that type of luster. It's very, very impressive. Have a quick look at the tags as well. See, this is just a size 2. Linen. These ones are made in Japan. And we can see the other logo tag there as well. I don't think we have a larger one in here. Nope. But yeah, really, really cool pants. I do look forward to wearing them more. As well, it is can be interesting trying to style them. I have mainly gravitated to one specific way of wearing them with a specific outfit, but I do like how they look, and I'm very glad to have these in my wardrobe as a baggy type. But the only downside for me is that linen is just miserable on my skin. So it's not always the best, but it'd be fine in winter because I'd be wearing long johns anyway. So yeah, the pantalon chasignolles. French is so deeply unserious. Alrighty, with pants done, we move on to jackets. Starting off with one that I'm just so sad about because it doesn't fit me properly, but this is the veste tavaux. According to the write-up on the website, it's logwood over yarn-dyed indigo, giving it this very deep color. But we can see that it is reversible, and the inside has a bluer, a lighter bluer look. And it's a different texture as well. So on the outside, it's quite soft and smooth, whereas the inside sort of does have, I wonder if the camera can pick it up, but you can kind of see the lines running across of the fabric as well. This is such a bummer that it doesn't fit me properly because it's such an interesting shape. We have the stand collar, and then the actual buttoning comes across in such an interesting fashion, where, as you can see, it is not straight down the front. It curves around, like the placket curves along the front, sort of wrapping over to one side. You have a chest pocket. It's a very, very small, like shallow chest pocket. 2 side pockets. And then looking at the back, it is just plain there as well. But let me turn it inside out for you so you can see what it looks like from the other side. I do love a reversible item because, as I've said many a time before, it's like having 2 things in one. You can just change up looks. I also imagine it's like, you know, in like a spy movie where you're trying to escape and you just like turn the jacket inside out. It's like, whoa, where'd they go? It could be anywhere. They're gone. It's all gone. So here it is on the reverse. As you can see, this is so blue. It is so much bluer than the inside. Now, again, we have 2 side pockets, side front pockets, no chest pocket on this side, but then this one as well, we have all the tagging and such. We can see there, that, and this is a size 3. Size 3, great, but it just doesn't fit me right. But yeah, they're both cotton, just different finishing on them. We have larger buttons on these as well, and they do also have the proverbs on the side. I wonder if they're the same. I just can't quite read it. Oh, here we go. Le ne fait pas la chanson. What does that mean? The air does not make the song. This is what it should sound like.
L'air ne fait pas la chanson.
L'air ne fait pas la chanson. So that seems to be what it says on each of them. That's pretty cool. As you can see as well on the placket, they're the buttons that on the other side it would like sneak through. So it's very tight there. As you can see that as well. But yeah, the veste tavaux. So sad it doesn't fit. I guess also like it's not black. You can be like a sort of like a black indigo, but if only it did fit. It doesn't look right on me, which is such a shame, but this is such a great jacket as well. So if anyone is interested in it, I would rather it go to somebody that, you know, can truly be able to wear it and appreciate it. Because again, like, just so well made and is going to last you such a long time. Veste tavaux. Moving to the next jacket is quite an interesting piece because it's like a 2-toned design. This is the veste laree. Laree. And it's a hunting jacket. So it's really interesting. Well, I don't know where to start. Let's start with the 2-tone. So the main body of this is like a cotton melton. It's very fluffy and thick, but it's not itchy. Like, you know how my skin is. This feels fine. It does not bother me. And then the arms are a black moleskin that, as you can see, still has that luster. This mustn't have been worn too much by the previous owner because over time, moleskin kind of loses that luster and it kind of breaks in a bit more and changes and fades. It, like, you know, looks better with age to some people. But it's a very interesting little 2-tone design. I've not seen many jackets with like such a heavy body and then completely different sleeves. But since this is a hunting jacket, we have a bunch of references there. We can see that the buttons are actually different to what we're familiar with. These do not have proverbs on them, but they do have animals on them. As you can see there. This is like a black lacquered metal. So these are metal buttons. As you can see on this one here, like the lacquer is coming off from wear and also the sound it makes too. Shallow chest pocket, 2 flat pockets on the front. And then as part of like the signifier of the hunting jacket, we have this interesting pocket on the side here. It is this horizontal entry rear pocket that I would guess or assume is for a type of weapon because look at how deep this goes. It's huge. It is all the back. The entire back has this layer. I can put my hand through all of that. That is wild. I didn't expect it to be so deep. It's just the entire back. I don't know what you put in here then. Maybe you could just like carry like your snacks and things, but that is wild that it is that entire part is just a layer for the pocket. But yeah, this did just arrive the other day. I have not worn it. I've just put it on. But a very interesting piece. I guess like, you know, a tough part is like how do you style a two-tone thing like that? But you know, that's something to figure out for another day. Here is the tag as well. What you can see from that is that this one is made in Japan. Sometimes some of the pieces are made in France. I'm not sure how that is decided, but also, as you may know, like the tag of saying where something is made doesn't necessarily mean that the entire thing was made there, right? Like it could have just been a very small part, or maybe even the tag itself was what was made somewhere. But yeah, this is the veste laree. Just, yeah, I can't believe this pocket is that deep. It's just everything. The whole back is a pocket. What an interesting design. I'm so fascinated by this. Yeah. The veste laree. Okay, so now moving on to probably one of the coolest pieces, one of the most interesting pieces that I now have in my wardrobe. It did just arrive the other day. But this is the veste antsiranana. And just look at this item. As we said earlier, if you remember, all of the pieces are named after places in France. But when I searched antsiranana, how do you say it properly? Antsiranana. Antsiranana? It came up with Madagascar. And what is interesting about that, yeah, I guess it, you know, is a place where the French were involved. But not only that, this piece references a garment worn by the Madagascar Navy. Therefore, like Antsiranana being a place in Madagascar that links into the whole piece itself, which I think is really, really neat. As we can see here, we finally have an actual swing tag of the piece itself, so you can have a look and see that everything is just written in French on their swing tags as well. The buttons here are, do they have the proverbs on them? No. But these are different buttons from the usual. They do say outil vêtement on them, and we do have this tag here. But look, I'm talking about stuff that probably hasn't explained the main thing. What on earth is this color and fabric? You can hear it. This is 100% cotton, which is wild. It almost feels like a raincoat, like a polyester raincoat. And the finish on these ones, on this specific like jacket, is unique. Every single one looks completely different. I encountered one in Tokyo. I'd seen this one on Mercari and had been like, I genuinely don't know how this looks or would be in person because the fabric is so strange. Managed to find one at a second street, tried it on, and it didn't look anything like this one. Sort of still similarly like a smock and dirty, but the finish, which is, I think it's an iron mordant with persimmon. Yeah, the iron mordant and persimmon sort of give it this weird texture throughout, and then the cotton is treated to then give it this sort of plasticky. It's not uncomfortable, it's very smooth, but you can hear it as well. It doesn't, I don't know how this is just cotton. It is wild. But what you result in is a very oversized fit with no collar whatsoever. We do have pockets. Is this even a pocket? It's an inner pocket. I haven't worn it. So we do have one outer pocket there. That looks like it's a pocket for the outside, but it is actually an inside pocket, which you can see here does have a button closure. This button does have the proverb on it in there as well. But yeah, this piece, as you can kind of see on like the reference there of how much it cost initially, that indeed was a lot of money. And having looked at outil and their pieces, they do occasionally do this persimmon and mordant technique to get these finishes, sometimes on coats, sometimes the color is a lot more vibrant, but it's just, yeah, it is truly something. I've not come to the point of like knowing how to style this, but just seeing this in person and like handling it, I don't have anything to compare it to. It's truly something special. So antsiranana, like, let's go. Love this one so much. So the next two pieces I have spoken about before as well, so we won't dwell too long on them, but this is the veste arbois in a salt and pepper. This, according to the makers, is a bespoke cotton linen chambray fabric that has, the salt and pepper sort of gives it that look of just mix of black and gray, a little bit of white in there. And the texture of it all is trying to evoke like a vintage fabric. And I think it does really, really well. It's wrinkly. It doesn't really hold much shape. It's very, very relaxed. And I just love it. As you can see, this is a 50% cotton, 50% linen blend. And this one is actually made in France. So they said that they did spend a very, very long time, years in fact, creating this fabric. Cannot confirm, cannot deny, but it is something very, very special. I know that they've brought out some other pieces with this as well, but I do really like this one. We have a chest pocket, 2 side pockets, and just a lot of disheveled vibes. I love wearing this piece a lot and can't wait to wear it more. But yeah, this is the veste arbois. For the last of the jackets, it's another one that I've shown off before, but this is the veste gabarret. And as you can see, it is in moleskin as well. Standout feature of this is the stand collar that we have here as well. We do see the same buttons with the same proverb on there as well. A melody does not make a song. 2 side pockets. So far as I know, I haven't seen anything on the inside. There is a chest pocket as well. You might have noticed that I have the sleeves rolled up for most of these. I'm not sure whether that's the intended thing, but I find that the sleeves on a lot of these outil pieces are quite long. So I do need to roll them up. But I kind of like that as an aesthetic choice as well. This is a very, very simple moleskin jacket. I think it fits me quite well. I do like the stand collar on it too. And yeah, we have shown it off before, so I don't want to talk too much about it. But yeah, it's just a lovely everyday piece that I can wear to kind of, things at work if we're going to be doing some hustle and bustle and bump and grind. And as it is, workwear, that's part of the aspect of it also. As this does sort of, lose its luster and become looser, it isn't too stiff anymore, so it does move quite well. I do like, the pattern and how it's cut with the seams coming across the front there as well. But yeah, I do really like this. Very sort of understated, very sort of lovely, nice, and can't wait to keep wearing it. But yeah, that's the last of the jackets, which leaves one final piece. Now, as we've seen before in the outil pieces that I have shown off, that some of them we do have some interesting choices of materials in the fabric, be it from like hemp to also, that iron mordant persimmon finish to the veste antsiranana. This one here, unfortunately, I do not have information on the name of this jacket, but as we can see here, it looks very, very shiny. And you might be asking, why is this so shiny? This is a very, very light coat. It is primarily cotton. We have these gorgeous, set of buttons along the cuff there as well. These all do have the proverbs on the side, thicker buttons through the middle, this really interesting shaped sort of slit towards the hem on the front. We do have a slit on the back as well, vent, no buttons along there. But when we look at let's look at what's aside to cotton, what's in this. And my goodness, have I already forgotten where that tag is. Here we go. So what's wild is this is a size 1. This is also made in France, but it is metal. It's 8% metal in this, which I'm going to guess is why it has this sort of shiny luster. This piece also only arrived recently. I've just tried it on. It's so light that, you know, maybe on slightly cooler, warmer days you can wear it. But yeah, this is wild to look at. I'm glad that the camera is sort of catching how bright it is. But just what a piece. This is the last one in the collection as well. And yeah, just side pockets on this one. Like truly side pockets, not like front vertical. These are horizontal on the side. But yeah, that is the last of the outil pieces that, you know, I have here to show off for you today. So yeah, that's a look at 10 outil pieces that I have been lucky enough to get my hands on as well. What did you think? It is truly a really interesting brand. I feel like they achieve their vision very, very well. Like everything feels so well made, so well thought out of. And what you can also find is that a lot of the names of the pieces, like the veste and then the city, or like the chemisier and the city, that doesn't always mean it's going to be in a specific fabric. They will do versions of almost everything in different types of fabrics. Like you can, for example, get the vestiers in moleskin. You can get the veste gabarret in like this very interesting like denim type look. The antsiranana comes in different fabrics as well. It's really up to you. It's just the silhouette is what's being described there. So it makes it very easy to try and find a version of something you want in a different fabric because you just search the name of it and you can get the results with different fabrics and materials there to best suit, I guess, what works for you and your lifestyle as well. But yeah, let me know in the comments below what was your favorite piece, or if you have any questions, I can do my best to answer them whilst I'll still have all these things on hand here as well. It's a shame that it is just so hot. Tomorrow's going to be 42 degrees. I'm not going to be going outside, but that a lot of this I just can't really wear right now. So looking forward to time when I can wear them as well. But yeah, if you do have any questions, let me know. I'll do my best to help you out with them. But definitely keep an eye out if you can find it online. I'm not sure whether it's stocked anywhere else worldwide, but at least in Japan, there are some physical places that stock them, but you can also find them on online marketplaces as well. So yeah, that's a closer look at outil from 2016 to now by Yuya Uda, and just a very nice glimpse into their world and what they decided to, you know, bring over and put forth from their creativity and referencing an obsession with French workwear. But yeah, thanks so much for watching this video. Hope you enjoyed it. Again, yeah, any questions, let me know. And I hope you're all taking care of yourselves, being safe, having fun. And as always, don't do anything I do except, yeah, take a chance on some labels or brands that you may not usually be familiar with, because you might be pleasantly surprised. And, you know, what's the worst that could happen? Well, I mean, obviously there's many things that could happen, but yeah, you might find something you really, really like. But yeah, you'll take care. Until next time, be safe. Catch you next time. Bye-bye.